Myra, what kind of cooking do you think this is? I just came into the kitchen and there's a giant pot on the stove filled with what? That happens to be my curry that I made for dinner tonight. I'm sorry, but I knew I was going to be late coming home from work today, so I made that before going to have reheated on the stove when you wanted to eat some. Allow me to ask you one more time. What is this cooking you've made? I have no clue what this brown slop is in this pot on the stove. What? I just told you that it's the coconut curry that I made for dinner tonight. I'm sure that the smell could have given that away. Well, look, the kind of curries that I love to eat are nothing like this slop you've left here. I happen to always go to this old Thai restaurant back in the day, and the coconut curry they had there was amazing. I had assumed walking into the kitchen today that the smell meant you had made something really good for me to eat, comparable to what they had, but I was very wrong. I see. Well, when you compare mine to the real deal you must have had back at that restaurant, I suppose it would be much better than mine. But let me say, I tried my best to make my curry just as delicious as the rest of my cooking. Kane is always letting me know how much he loves it when I cook that curry. How much longer are you planning to use Kane's kindness towards you as a way of making excuses? I'm going to tell you the truth right now about this stuff. You are not good enough to be a proper wife. And that's because, from what I've been able to see, you can't do jack. You can't clean, you can't cook, you can't do laundry. I'm sorry about that. I've really been trying my best in the house and always thought that I was doing a good job with it all. What am I going to do with you if you have no idea how to cook delicious food for others to eat? I want you to come home right now and make me something else that's much better than this so-called curry. I'm sorry, but I'm currently still at work now and can't take the rest of the day off to come home. It'll be another 2 hours or so before I'm back home, so could you please wait until then? You think I can wait? You get back to this house right now! Are you listening to me? I'm going to start wrecking your room right now, and we'll continue to make it worse until you come through that door and start taking me seriously. What? No, hold on a moment, please. There's a lot of things in my room that I need for work and have organized very well for the purpose of my job. I'm not worried about that low-level job you're working right now, so get over it. Now, if you don't want me ruining things in here, you come home right now. Understood? I cannot come home right now. I told you already that I only have a few hours left and I won't be able to leave. Can you please just refrain from doing whatever you plan to do in my room? Or, at the very least, please do not touch anything that's on my desk or in the drawers. All of those things there are very important for work, so I can't have them being destroyed and scattered. So you have all your most important things in your desk drawers? Don't worry, though. I'm not planning on turning your whole room into the aftermath of a tornado, all right? I just want to give you some things that you'll have to clean up before going to sleep tonight is all. Things for me to clean up? Please don't do anything completely unnecessary, all right? I've already had a long day at work. I can come home and cook you something after work, but I don't want for there to be a mess waiting for me to clean it up as well. Now you should be looking forward to what'll be waiting for you if you don't come home right now. I really hope that you don't do anything to my room before I come home. Cynthia, why would you do something like this? My room is a total disaster now after you came into it. I can't even find half of my things now. Huh? I was being so nice to you by giving you some chores to do by having to clean it up a little. Why are you acting like you're not grateful for any of it now? And about your room, the interior is just awful. So I thought my rearranging of your furniture would help the place look more modern and flashy. Why did you do all of this to my desk and chair? I can't even get my office chair to the desk now with what you've done. I don't get why you're saying my room looks awful when you've only gone and made it look worse. What is all of this about? Seriously, Cynthia? What's wrong? Oh, I did all of that to make the room look perfect in my image and to give you something to do. Well, if you don't like what I've done, then go ahead and clean it all up and fix things. I won't be offended by that. So this was always your plan then? It probably didn't even matter if I was coming home when you asked me or not. The outcome would have been the same either way. You've always been doing this to me lately as well. Causing more trouble for me so that I have more things to clean up and redo? Well, fine. I'll do whatever you want me to do for you, as long as you stop all of this. Before you get to cleaning, can you make me my dinner? It's your job as my son's wife to get dinner taken care of before anything else, right? What? But you've already gone ahead and eaten all of the coconut curry I've made, right? And I told you before that what you made was not coconut curry in the slightest and should be called something else. I want you to make me something delicious right now. All right? I understand. Hey, I finally finished making you something to eat and you've gone and thrown it out? Why? Well, that's because I'm full now. I had finished off that disgusting coconut curry for you, so I'm not feeling all too hungry. Cynthia, what the heck is wrong with you? Why are you picking on me even more than usual today? I never thought of any of this as me picking on you. I'm just doing my best to teach you how to become a proper wife for both my son and myself. If you're going to continue acting like this towards me or even get worse, then what? Are you trying to say that you'd want to take me to court or something over this? Go right ahead, Myra. Try your best at suing me for what's happening here. But my stomach just happens to hurt after eating your curry, and I didn't want to eat what you just made. So I did what was best and threw it away. And while you were at work, I was just trying my best to redo the interior of your room for you, as well as that you clean up the rest. Tell me what I've done wrong today because of those things, You're being a real jerk. And on top of that, I happen to be the leader of the city council, and that means I have some influence in this town. If you even dare to try to complain about any of this to anyone, I think they'd all believe what I have to say over you. Then I could start spreading bad rumors about you, and it would be the end of your life in this town. Now I get it. For a little while now, I've felt as though some people in this town have been giving me the stink eye or the cold shoulder. And that might have to do with some of the things I've said about you so far. That's right. Tomorrow evening, I'd like you to go around town and hand out these notices I'll have prepared for you. You want me handing them out? Okay. And I want you handing them out to people in person. Don't just be sticking them into their mailboxes or leaving them on their porches. I want them to be aware of the notice right away. This is my one and only rule for you, so you'd better follow it. I need to keep a good image inside the heads of everyone in this part of town. I feel like this isn't going to go so well for me. Like, they'll all be giving me the stink eye again. Now, I can't wait to hear back from you on how it goes. I'll make sure to leave the notices on the counter or something for you.
Hey, Myra. I have some great news. I'm gonna be finishing up work sooner than expected, so I should be back in town from this business trip tomorrow.
What? Really?
Yeah! I grabbed the first plane out of the airport tomorrow morning, so I should be home around noon. I'm gonna buy you a few souvenirs and things from here, so look forward to them.
Thank God, seriously.
Huh? What's been going on with you?
For the past 2 weeks while you've been out of the state, it has been a living hell for me. Your mom has been harassing me this whole time, and I really can't take it anymore.
What? Are you kidding me? Why would my mom be doing that to you?
I don't think your mom has liked me at all this whole time. And, well, when you were finally away from the house long enough, she started to harass me. I had no idea what to do about her this whole time, besides just burying it all.
There has to be a reason behind why she hasn't been fond of you this whole time. She has always been a wonderful woman as my mother, and I could never see her doing something as bad as you're saying. And it's not just me, but the whole town that could never see her behaving that way. She is the leader of the city council after all, and has been for a while now. People trust her. Myra, perhaps you've done something really bad recently that my mom did not like at all and has been trying to make clear to you?
I don't remember doing anything out of the ordinary around her that I wasn't already doing when you were around. It was the moment you left out the door to the house for that business trip that she started all of this. I've been putting in even more work, if anything, to make sure she's been okay at home, so I'm not sure what happened.
Well, if you haven't noticed anything, then that might mean it was something small enough that only my mom would be able to notice. When I'm back home, I'll have a talk with my mom about this, alright?
Please? But seriously, I haven't done anything wrong to her in any way, I promise.
And I'm sure you didn't do anything to her, but there has to be some kind of reasoning behind her behavior. I'll have a light conversation with her about it. So for the time being, can you try and act as careful as possible about everything?
Sure, but...
Ah, that's right. I want to surprise her when I come home early. So can you please make sure to keep me coming home early from my trip a secret from her? There should still be some party poppers in the storage room.
Do you want me to go looking for them?
No, it's already dark outside, so I don't need you going there. I'll go and grab them tomorrow before coming home. Now, before I come home, can you make up something really amazing to eat? Or even order something from the store that you can bring home for all of us. I think I'll be home around 2 p.m. tomorrow, so you can have something made for then.
All right. Just make sure that you handle your mom when you're back, please.
I'll deal with her. I'll make sure she listens to everything I say to her as well. I really hope there's no complicated reason for her acting this way towards you, and that it was all a small misunderstanding. I mean, she would never behave like that towards anyone.
I see you still think I'm responsible then. I get it. Myra, how are you doing right now? Huh? What do you mean? Oh, so you're still trying to be all tough about things then, I'm sure you want to start freaking out right about now over what's happened. Well, I'll let you in on what's really going on here. Are you feeling comfortable right about now? Comfortable? Well, I suppose you could say that I'm not all too comfortable right now. You could say that I'm feeling a little bit worked up right about now, but that's all. I'm sure things are far worse than you being a little bit worked up right now, right? Today is one of the hottest days of the year, so I'm sure it's tough on you right now. Well, coming here, it was a little bit muggy outside and all, but now that I'm in here, the AC is keeping things cooled off. I guess this is why I hate the summer. Everywhere you go, the AC is cranked up, making things almost too cold. AC? Are you sure that you haven't started to have symptoms of heat stroke now and are beginning to imagine things? But you sweating your butt off right now is totally fine because you've been needing that detox to get all that impure garbage out of your system. A detox? What are you talking about right now, Cynthia? I'm not following you. You're still trying to act tough in front of me? Oh, I want to know how it feels to be shut inside that shed on one of the hottest days of the year. It's been close to an hour now, and I'm thinking you're pretty close to passing out right about now. Right now? I happen to be in town buying some things for later today, so... Huh? What do you mean you shut me inside the shed? Are you sure you're talking to the right person right now? And let's take a few steps back here, Cynthia. Are you telling me that you were trying to do something like that to me? Wait, huh? There's no way you're out shopping for anything right now. When I went outside to the storage shed, there was someone in there. And it's only been you and I at home today, so there shouldn't be anyone besides you in that shed right now. Ah, we were thinking up this huge surprise for you today, so I had no plans of telling you about what's been going on. Just an hour or so ago, Kane came back from his business trip.
What?
So I'm going to assume the person that was at the shed who you saw was him. Wait, then that would mean...
Oh, shoot. This is not good.
Cynthia, how is Kane doing right now?
Well, it doesn't seem that he's going to die from this. They said he's going to spend the rest of the night in the hospital today so that the doctors can watch him, and if everything's all right, he can leave tomorrow.
I see. That's great to hear.
But they are telling me that it was probably close to 105 degrees in that shed while he was trapped in there. This is all your fault. It's all because of you that my son had to be put into this state.
Excuse me? Why the hell is any of this my fault?
You never told me that my son would come home today, and that's why things ended up like this. Ah! My poor baby boy. I'm so sorry, Kane.
Kane was the one who planned out the whole surprise he had for you. And before we even get to something like that, let's talk about how you had planned for me to be the one locked in that shed the whole time. Are you trying to tell me you would have rather had me be the one to suffer serious heat stroke?
That's not it. I didn't lock the shed like that on purpose. I didn't think there was anyone in there, so I went and closed the door and locked it.
Cynthia, I am not going to sit here and believe that BS from you now. Do you remember all the things you were saying to me just hours ago? You were acting all happy about how you had me locked in there in this heat.
Well, but that was...
You just happened to lock your son in there instead of me. And that was because you thought he was still on that trip and that I was the only person that could have possibly been in the shed. You could be charged with inflicting bodily harm on Kane. Do you understand that?
No, I didn't do any of that on purpose.
Cynthia, your time of harassing me without any sort of consequences is over. And now you're going to have to deal with what comes next. I am tired of the way you've been behaving, and I'm going to do something about you.
Shut up! I don't want you to ever text me again. I want to focus on my son right now, and you're getting in the way of that, all right?
Sure. Understood, Cynthia. I'm sure that's all you want now, right?
Kane, are you doing all right now? I'm so sorry for doing something like that to you. I'm sure it was boiling hot in that shed, right?
Huh? What are you going on about, Mom?
Well, look, Kane, I didn't think that you were in the shed when I closed it up and locked it. I'm so sorry about that. I'm sure you never wanted to experience something like that.
The moment the door shut, I went right up to it and started to bang on it, right? So what the hell is up with you not coming back to the door and opening it up for me?
I didn't notice you banging on it. The moment I locked the door, I was off to go do other things, I promise.
You're telling me you walked away from the shed right after you locked the door to it? Then that means you left the house and went out, right? If you were in the house, you would have been able to hear all that banging and my yelling.
Right. I left the house the moment I closed the door to the shed. I went out to go grocery shopping.
So you weren't home then? Are you sure that's what you want to go with? You're not lying to me about anything right now, are you?
Listen, Kane, why are you acting like that? You're a lot different than your regular self right now. I'm getting a little scared.
Maybe it has something to do with being locked in the shed for an hour when it was the hottest day of the year. I'm not going to be acting all normal for a while now, I'm sure.
I really do feel sorry for what happened yesterday. I'm sorry, Kane.
Mom, have you taken a look at the recent notice that's been going around? My company is featured in it, after all.
Huh? I've taken a look at it. Was your company featured in it?
I see. So you have at least seen it, then. Well, according to Mr. Graves next door, he told me he was handing those notices out around 1 p.m. yesterday.
Huh?
So when thinking about 1 p.m. in the afternoon, that happens to be about 30 minutes after I was locked in the shed. So can you tell me who was able to get that paper from him while he was going around?
Well, about that, I found the notice placed on the front doorstep.
Even though the rule is to only hand off the notice to the resident when they are there to answer the door? You were the one that made that rule for the town after all, right?
Ah, well, yes. I made that rule.
Mom, you had planned to lock Myra in the shed instead of me, right? I have the whole conversation you had with Myra saved in my phone from yesterday, and I have Mr. Graves as a witness. At this point, there's no way for you to talk your way out of this one.
And what are you going to do about it? Are you trying to tell me you're not going to be on my side this time? This was all done because she did something wrong, okay? She took my cane from me.
And you think that was a good enough reason for you to lock her in the shed on the hottest day of the year to pass out and possibly die? And one other thing. You were totally alright with me getting married to her. I don't care if you have complaints about it now. It's too late for you to do anything about it.
But I was the woman that raised you all by myself, right? So why are you trying to put more of your time into her when you should be focusing on me?
What are you talking about, Mom? She's my wife. I have every right to make her my number one, because she's the one I love the most. But what does it matter now? I'm cutting ties to you because of this.
Huh?
I want you out of the house right now. Understood?
Wait a second, Kane. I didn't mean to lock you in that shed like that, okay? It was a complete accident. I get that I was home to take the notice from Mr. Graves, but at that time I had the music playing and couldn't hear anything.
Is that right? Well, if you have any other good excuses come to mind, make sure to bring them up when you're in court.
Court? What the hell are you talking about? Hey, you have to be joking right now. There's no way you'd take your actual mother to court over this.
I'm finished talking with you, Mom. Bye now.
Wait! Hey, what's going on here? You really think that the both of you can take me to court over this and sue me?
Yep. I'm assuming you heard about that from Kane then.
Tell me right now what the hell you think you're doing. What kind of law did I break here? What crime did I commit? I never meant to lock anyone in that shed the other day, all right? So there's no way in hell you're going to be able to sue me when it was an accident.
No, we actually have a lot of solid evidence as to why we're suing you now. Since I have your attention now, I placed a camera in my room to record everything going on there.
You placed a camera in your room?
Yep. I wanted to make sure I had video evidence proving that you were the one doing whatever you had been up to in my room.
I see. But the only thing I ever did in your room was clean a little and a little bit of rearranging. If you think something like that is a crime, then go ahead and sue me.
No. Cynthia, you happened to steal something out of my room, right?
What? Ugh!
It was the cash that I had placed behind my desk in a little cubby. That was the money I was saving for myself for the longest time now, and you stole it from me.
No, you stop it right there. I never meant to steal that from you or anything. Is this...
Is this what?
That day, you told me not to move your desk or touch anything on it, right?
I sure did, didn't I? I told you that everything on that desk and in the drawers was for my job and very important to me.
You were the one that incited me going and looking all around that desk then. You put that money there and that camera in your room all so you could catch me in the act. What kind of monster are you, the devil? That's not going to be evidence to the court when I'm done talking.
Well, you can think whatever you want to about how the court case will go, but the fact that you stole my money is what's punishable here. Go ahead and complain all you want now, but I don't care.
I am not going to allow this to happen. Your days of setting me up are over. I see. So that was the reason you left your room looking awful the other day.
What are you talking about now, Cynthia? I never did anything to my room that would have led you in there to tear it up. The only thing that's a fact right now is that you went into my room, made a mess, and stole my money. And I even have evidence of that, as the camera got a good view of everything going on, all in high definition.
You are a pile of crap. Not only did you steal my son from me, but now you've gone and set up a plan to get rid of me?
I don't ever remember stealing Kane from you. Perhaps this has something to do with you being too attached to him and not being able to let go.
I mean, he's far too old now to still be a mama's boy to you, and as far as I'm aware, you are far too old now to be acting in such an embarrassing way.
The way you've set all of this up, I finally realized the true monster you really are, Myra. I never realized how much of a rotten witch you really are.
I don't want to be called that by someone far worse off. And now that I have you here, I wanted to tell you that I did as you said and took the notice you had made up around everyone.
Huh?
And I made sure, as a little gift to everyone, to print out all the screenshots I took of our conversation and staple it on. And now everyone around town will be aware of what happened between you and I.
Myra, I'm so freaking sorry. I never really believed anything you were telling me about my mom. And for a while, I was really thinking that my mom was totally fine and not doing anything to you.
To be honest, that really pissed me off. I was trying to think in my head of ways to get back at you for not believing me, but I suppose an hour-long wait in that really hot sauna seemed to do just the trick into getting you to believe me. So I guess I'll forgive you now.
Okay. Thank you, Myra. That was a real eye-opening experience for me. But really, I'm so sorry about all of this. I never thought that my mom could be the kind of person to sink so low to you.
And from your point of view, she's your mother, who you never dared doubt. But now we can see after all this that Cynthia was never able to give you up as you got older, and it led her down the path of jealousy.
But the fact that her behavior led her to trying to lock you in a hot shed on the hottest day of the year? I know I made it out of that situation okay. But what if she really had locked you in the shed instead of me?
Well, that's all in the past now, so let's not think about it anymore. Now, were you able to find the party poppers in there?
Yeah, I found them. I had a lot of time to go through everything and find them.
Well then, now that you and I are going to be living without your mom in our house, let's have a celebration. After that, instead of kicking Cynthia out of the house that we had been living in with her, both Kane and I ended up leaving the place and finding a new home. There, we started our new life together, away from her bullcrap. She tried to get us to stop leaving while we were there with a moving team taking all our things, but when she started to grab a hold of her son to physically stop him, Kane pushed her off and told her to never ever touch him again or he'd sue her himself as well. That last phrase from him was enough to get her to stop, and for the rest of our time in the house, she locked herself in her room to scream and cry. When it came to the court case against her, I was able to win it without a doubt in any of the jury's mind. The videos I had of her going into my room and ruining everything already had the jury in shock, but when she found the money and started jumping with joy after putting it all in her pocket, really got this huge look of disappointment from everyone. Cynthia herself was left sitting there next to her defense attorney as he tried to make up an excuse for all of that, but as he was about to say something, she fell over in her chair and began to bawl her eyes out. And so, in the end, I was able to get a large settlement from her for the money she had stolen. And not only that, but a restraining order placed on her as well so that I would legally never have to be within her presence ever again in my life. Cynthia ended up having to borrow money in order to pay me, and after that, both Kane and I cut ties to her. But that's not all for her, as this led to a lot of the town losing their faith in her as the city council leader, which then led to her fleeing the town. She was able to sell her house, but she wanted the money so badly that she sold the place for a very low price. About half of what the place was actually worth on the market, but that was how desperate she was to get out of everyone in town's sight. As of right now, I'm not sure how she's living when she has a lot of debt to pay off, but I hope she's not having to live in a dump or something now after that. I think that she was right about me having a little bit of rotten witch in me, and I think from here on, I might start working on fixing that. Although, that little bit of fight in me is what's helped me the most in life so far. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.